the right time, the right time. The elephants know the right time. When summer comes, they set out on their path to find a jungle pool and bathe and keep their bodies cool and know what fun it always is to share the bath. The right time, the right time. The locusts know the right time, the moment of their greatest urgency. Now way back in the hills, the hermit crabs have to know just when to take vacations to the ocean below. And they're so content with beach apartments they rent that they even take them home when they go.
The world is a carousel of color. Wonderful, wonderful color.
Walt Disney presents
The wonderful world of color.
And now, from Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color, Nature's Charter Tours.
Today, people with mutual interests and tastes often travel together in what is commonly called a charter tour. In conveyances of all kinds, groups of happy humans all over the world go sightseeing, visiting, and playing. But this form of travel was not invented by man. Mother Nature started organizing charter tours millions of years ago, and she's still in business. A fascinating book has been written on the subject by that well-known authority, Ranger J. Audubon Woodlore.
I wish to thank those animals who have helped me write this book, who've opened up their private lives to let me take a look. My special thanks to Mother Nature, who gave so graciously permission for the use of her land and sky and sea. To her, I'm indebted for the text that lies within. For without her cooperation, this book could not have been. Migratory animals are often hard to track. I worry from the time they leave until the time they're back. No clocks or maps or compasses to guide them on their way. So I must keep a check on them every single day. My goodness, migration! I must get to my station. I wonder why those geese are not in Canada. My. I wonder what they're doing in these parts. Hello, Flight Leader Goose. You're flying mighty loose. Say, can't you read these navigation charts? The seals have all departed for the Pribilofs. Good. I'll have to set the time when they arrive. A salmon run is in? Say, fellas, where you been? You're due inside the cannery at 5. According to these tables, I must quickly send some cables to the grunion who are coming in to spawn. And the Capistrano swallows must be notified as follows. Hurry back, or all the tourists will be gone. The whales must all be cautioned at the borderline. Don't drink the water till you boil it first. Those vicious army ants are ready to advance. I think this army ought to be dispersed. And still no word from turtles, bats, or butterflies. They know how much a phone call reassures. Oh, I'm head over heels, keeping track of package deals on Mother Nature's charter tours. Of all the migrant creatures, birds are most well known. We marvel at the distances they travel. But how they find their destinations in some far-off zone, there's the mystery we must yet unravel. What are their instruments of flight? What road signs do they see? Who directs their journeys, night or day? Authorities, through years of research, finally disagree. And here's what the biggest bird brains have to say.
Gentlemen, I've a theory, mind you. Just a theory, mind you. Birds must navigate by the sun. Using solarization for their orientation, I suggest that this is how it's done.
Utter nonsense. I have a theory. Now, I advance this theory that the stars are cleverly used as guides. In the stellar reflection, they determine direction, where to go, and where they've been besides.
Ridiculous! Birds in navigation use the rotation of the Earth.
No. They go by instincts which they've had from time of birth.
Poppycock, barometric pressure, that's what keeps them on their course.
Bah! I say they employ the Earth's magnetic lines of force.
Gentlemen, please. Now, regarding this age-old argument, our store of knowledge keeps expanding with experiments like bird banding, where identifying bracelets of aluminum are gently fixed around a tarsal bone. The bird is then sent out and checked along his route to give us data heretofore unknown. We learn their speed and when and where they're traveling, their feeding habits, and their nesting traits. Yet all around the globe, our scientists still probe to find out how a birdie navigates.
We've got theories, lots of brand new theories. Some sound, and some of them sound absurd. Though we study and we search, we've discovered in research no one knows the answer but the bird.
Spring charter tours of Canadian geese hurry home at speeds of 45 miles per hour. In their mysterious way, these magnificent birds find and follow the same flyways year after year, southward in fall and northward home in spring. The hunting season is long over, and wintry blizzards have subsided. And at last, the hazards of the return migration are behind them. After wintering in the south, this flock is glad to be home and to consider problems like nest building and family planning. In a couple of months, the young arrive. But also arriving on the scene is Mr. Raccoon, who would enjoy nothing better than a few young goslings. Father Gander and Mother Goose are making sure their children will be around for their first charter tour south next fall. Accurate navigation is duck soup to ducks. Returning home in spring, these mallards know exactly where they're going. But what they don't know is their pond is still frozen over. Sea geese who navigate all the way from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of St. Lawrence. On Bonaventure Island, they find that 18 hours of daylight allows plenty of time for fishing. Gannet housekeeping is set up on narrow rock ledges. The view may be magnificent, but living conditions are crowded in these multiple dwellings. Those arriving on a later tour must take whatever space is left. Their landings are smooth, helped by the braking effect of big, flat feet. When asked whether they became lost or blown off their course, the answer, of course, is no. Actually, head shaking and bill clacking are gestures of courtship. When mates are selected, nest construction starts. Seaweed is the favored material, but it's in such short supply that nests are frequently stolen. This thief, although caught with the goods, got away with the loot. Petty larceny notwithstanding, nests are built and eggs are laid, only one to a brood. After breaking through their tough eggshell, the young are eager to fall asleep. In a few weeks, the chicks have their new clothes. At 2.5 months, their appetites are voracious. They literally eat their heads off. And moms, too. A school of herring is reported. Some of the world's fanciest fishing is about to begin. From as high as 100 feet, the gannets dive, plunging to depths of as much as 50 feet below the surface. Protected by pneumatic cells in their chest area, the shock of the dive is cushioned. It's remarkable how they never collide during their wild dive-bombing raids. But more remarkable is how gannets navigate, straight and true to these breeding grounds every year. What guides them here? The sun? The tides? The herring? What's your theory?
We've got theories, lots of brand new theories. Some sound, and some of them sound absurd. So we study and research. We've covered in research. No one knows the answer. Not the bird.
Among the insect clientele of nature's charter tours, we find the common monarch butterfly. Would you believe this fragile and familiar friend of yours migrates hundreds of miles across the sky? These delicate Lepidoptera, who make amazing treks, progress from simple beginnings to a life complex through a process called metamorphosis, which spans some 30 days. They assume strange and wondrous forms to reach their adult phase. All butterflies and moths do this in similar degree. And here to tell of monarchs are the caterpillar 3.
Oh, you talk about your metamorphosis. We start as little bitty eggs like this, and in 4 or 5 days we emerge from these eggs with the cutest head and body and the 16 short fat legs. Well, let me tell you now, the first thing we do is chomp a chew our shell. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. Then we eat the leaves on which we dwell. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. Then we stuff ourselves until we swell. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. Oh, can you imagine anything so fat? You know you gotta stitch your seams like that. And in 2 weeks' time, our clothes rip off in rags. But underneath our clothing, we've been wearing sleeping bags. Don't mean to bug you, man, but here comes the Christmas stage that we all go through. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. People must grow old, but we will new. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. Watch your man and see the way we do. Metamorphosis, metamorphosis. Uh-oh, there's something shaking here without a doubt. We're getting in the mood for busting out, and it's time we spin our childhood days goodbye. And here we are on Monarch Live. Metamorphosis, 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 metamorphosis.
Thank you, Caterpillar 3. Though we all are amazed at the tale of its birth, the story of its journey is the strangest on Earth. From their various winter quarters, like California's Pacific Grove, northward each spring, the monarchs rove. Stopping en route at a milkweed patch, the females lay eggs, which in due time hatch. Now let's pause at this point in a monarch's migration, for here starts another generation.
Let's watch this little larva through the lens of a close-up camera. He's born hungry. Baby clothes are outgrown in a few days. And while in the larval stage, 4 suits will be worn out, each replaced by a new and brighter one. Though easy to detect, these caterpillars are rarely attacked and eaten by birds. Either their wavy horns and bold stripes make them look too menacing, or they taste too bitter because of their strict milkweed diet. After 2 weeks of such heavy meals, our obese little glutton loses appetite and prepares for a sleep-in. Rear legs grasp a silk button spun earlier. Then the last suit is zipped off. Specially designed hook is now employed. Our friend is suspended in a sleeping bag. The old clothes are discarded. In about 2 weeks, the sleeping bag, or chrysalis, transforms into what naturalists sometimes call a greenhouse with golden nails. And then magically it becomes transparent. Inside, our caterpillar, too, has undergone a magic change. And now, a monarch butterfly is born. Our butterfly is ready to fly now. He and his generation will head north to propagate and die. This process will be repeated through successive generations all summer long. When the weather chills, the last generation of monarchs, from wherever they are, begin their journey south for the winter. They have never made this trip before, yet they find the same eucalyptus and pine trees their distant ancestors left last spring. Think of it, the very same trees. Many thousands arrive every fall. Pacific Grove, California's butterfly town, turns out to greet them warmly, in celebration and in song.
Welcome, monarch butterflies. Welcome to our town. Hearts are cheerful when you're here. Fluttering your wings of golden brown. Greetings come to children's eyes. Everywhere you roam. Hail, hail, the monarchs, and welcome to our home. Hail, hail, the monarchs, and welcome to our home. Greetings come to children's eyes, everywhere you roam. Hail, hail, the monarchs, and welcome to our home.
The parade ends with a visit to the butterfly trees. Monarchs, as special guests, are loved and protected and never disturbed, Gesundheit, never disturbed deliberately in this Lepidopter sanctuary. A monument to the monarchs, but a delightful honor to bestow upon an insect.
Late in spring, throughout the ocean, there is an active group in motion, heading toward a picturesque and favored spot. Tennis courts and fine golf courses, mineral baths and saddle horses are a sample of some things they haven't got. Yet millions come to visit every year to take advantage of the climate here. Fog, cold, wind, drizzle. Oh my, how ideal. Perfect, simply perfect. If you're a seal. And so then, these are the islands Pribilof, where the northern fur seal journeys to. And when they come to land, I can observe them close at hand. They'll think I'm one of them now, wouldn't you? Choo-choo. I think I caught the flu. The bulls get here first on Pribilof, and they sit like sultans on the shore. They pick a piece of ground to keep 100 wives around, but they're always yelling for more, one more. Just listen to that roar. I love you, cries the master from the beach. He is trying to beseech a harem into reach. Ha, 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 he's attempting to appeal. Now, what does he take me for, a seal? A seal? He takes me for a seal. Oh, no, no. Oh, he's coming after me. He thinks I'm fancy-free. I think I'd better flee. Oh, please, please. Oh, you're making a mistake. Look, I'm nothing but a fake. A fake. Oh, stop, for heaven's sake. Don't cry. Oh, please don't cry. Don't take it so to heart. The truth is, we're better off apart. In time, you'll find others to take my place, and you'll realize that I was just another pretty face. And now, Here come the sweet lady seals to Pribilof from a swim of many thousand miles. Though they don't know it yet, oh, what a welcome they will get. For love has come to the Pribilof Isles.
Here in the Bering Sea, it's the end of a 6,000-mile swim for these playful females. Now at the shoreline, they seem hesitant about landing and dawdle coyly in the surf. The eager bulls are getting a little impatient. Perhaps the girls just wanted to be coaxed. Now the feverish task of harem gathering starts. When it comes to rounding up wives, a 700-pound Sultan bull becomes one of the most nimble animals in the world. More waves bring more wives. Wife stealing seems to be part of the game. Oh, well, with a harem of this size, what's the loss of a wife or two? In these first few hours of polygynous confusion, harem boundaries are established and the community settles down to the business of why they're here. Within the next 3 days, the wives give birth to their one pup conceived in last year's mating. Sometimes, in the name of discipline, father believes a pup has to be sat on. For the youngsters, the daily swimming lesson is one of the most important activities. Seals must learn to swim like any other animal. In little tidewater pools, they venture their first dip. The next step is learning to hold their breath underwater. The end of September finds the pups competent swimmers. And like this little fellow, ready to take a solo trip around the island. The males under 7 years of age are bachelor bulls. Unlike the sultans, who must stay and guard their harems, these boys are free to play and feed. Their living quarters are inland among the rocks and driftwood. In this curious situation, they are almost completely cut off from the shore by the sultans and their harems. They are permitted to travel unmolested to and from the sea along certain corridors. The bachelors, however, are keenly and fondly aware of the harems. Inevitably, a day comes when a young bull tires of his bachelorhood. He decides to challenge the experience of a powerful, battle-wise harem master. Here comes the challenger. The Sultan prepares. The old Sultan weakens. Speed and youthful endurance prove too much for the veteran. A once powerful ruler is overthrown, and he seeks the healing waters of the sea. And so, a new Sultan rules. The hectic summer ends at last on Pribilof Islands, and with winter's approach, the entire herd decides to leave. Heading south through the Aleutian passes, they swim away to their many remote destinations in the Pacific. Northward in the Arctic regions, Father Polar Bear searches for food among drifting ice floes. While Dad is away, Mom stays ashore raising her cubs. Polar bear cubs learn about migration early with short but exciting trips. Southward in Alaska's Brooks Range, thousands of caribou form an unbroken line for miles. In fall, these most migratory of all deer cross streams, mountain passes, and open tundra to seek food and shelter of the lower timber areas. Fawns must keep up with the herd, for to fall back can mean disaster. Watching with keen interest from their vantage points, wolves study the herd, looking for the lame, the sick, or the young straggler. Wolves know they rarely can overtake a healthy caribou, but when a feeble old buck is spotted, they quickly move in. If the ice presents a problem for caribou, it presents an even greater problem for the pursuing wolves. The timber is finally reached and brings to an end another charter tour, the spectacular migration of the Alaskan caribou.
Time is most essential in migrations. I'm sure this doesn't come as any shock. But then, if this be so, what animals do you know that own a wristwatch, calendar, or clock? Yet migrants do possess a sense of timing. The schedule each one follows is precise. And whether big or small, nature has endowed them all with an accurate built-in timing device. Now, isn't that the oddest thing? I thought I heard that elephant ring. My time must be slow, because his is right, I know.
The right time, the elephants know the right time. When summer comes, they set out on their path to find a jungle pool and bathe and keep their bodies cool and know what fun it always is to share the bath. And then there is the Arctic tern, the birdie that earns the medal for the longest of migration sojourns. He's synchronized right when he takes off on a flight, 'cause he knows there can't be any left turn. The right time, the locusts know the right time, the moment of their greatest urgency. And flying fast and straight, they're off to keep a luncheon date where they will eat 1,000 miles of scenery. Now way back in the hills, the hermit crabs have to know just when to take vacations to the ocean below. And they're so content with beach apartments they rent that they even take them home when they go. The right time, the gray whale knows the right time to find that certain bay of Mexico's. He's almost bored to tears along the coastline when he hears the folks in California yelling, "There she blows!" Consider Mr. Grunion in this general regard. He cannot miss the high tide by so much as a yard. If he's not in reach when Mrs. G hits the beach, he will never get a Father's Day card.
During a full moon in spring, to the coast of Southern California come great schools of tiny fish. These are called grunion. Their period of propagation is precision timed to the few moments after the highest tide wave. The female stands on her tail and burrows into the wave-washed sand. She must hold her position while she spawns. The male grunion curves around her and deposits in the buried nest the milk that will fertilize the eggs. The eggs must be laid immediately following the peak of the tide. If the fish spawn too early, higher waves would wash their eggs away. If they spawn too late, the receding tide would leave the fish stranded. The exciting event of a grunion run attracts another migratory species, the grunion hunter. Nets and hooks are unlawful. Only bare hands may be used to grab the little squirmers. We don't know where they come from or where they go, but with the next full moon and high tide, we know the grunion will be back at the right time. These nervous little rodents are lemmings. Lemmings are very prolific breeders, and their population explodes alarmingly every few years, at which time they seem to be gripped with a mass hysteria. Whether they migrate to escape overcrowding or a diminishing food supply is one of nature's great puzzles. Nothing deters lemmings on the move, though they may tarry to investigate some curiosity. Once the exodus begins, its primary purpose apparently is forgotten. The migration is the thing as it continues toward its dramatic, frightening climax. In their mad migrations, lemmings forget their usual caution, exposing themselves to many predators, such as the Jaeger bird. The weasel, too, takes his toll. And the raven wants his share. Ahead lie the cliffs of the Arctic shore, and beyond, the sea. Still, the obsessed little animals surge forward. They pause at the precipice. This is their last chance to turn back. Gradually, their strength wanes, and their determination ebbs in the cold sea. The lemmings finally make their rendezvous with destiny and death. But some remain behind, untouched by the migratory frenzy. These will thrive and propagate. And in a few years, this lemming story will be retold. Here at sea, where one drama ends, another begins. It's the right time now for Pacific salmon to enter the northwest coastal rivers. For at maturity, they all return to the waters of their birth to spawn and die. Their final journey presents an endless variety of obstacles. First, the fish must thread their way through the lines and lures of the annual Salmon Derby anglers. Negotiating a waterfall is the next formidable task for those fish lucky enough to get by the fishermen. Salmon are able to bypass high man-made dams and continue their journeys thanks to many fish ladders. The salmon must avoid being caught in nets. Only the Indians of the Northwest may legally take fish this way. Big Chinook salmon for a small Indian boy. A good salmon run brings out other fish fanciers. A wolverine tries his luck successfully. Of course, the champion fishermen are the bears. Even though their methods are somewhat less than delicate, they are quite efficient. This fellow is choosy. He's waiting for a fat one. The cougar likes fish, too. His problem? How to get a free meal without getting his feet wet. wet way is really the easier way to catch a fish. Now, far upstream, nests are being gouged out in the gravel bottom. The female lays her eggs, as many as 5,000 in some species. The male fish fertilizes the eggs with his milt. And thus, their life work is done. This male humpback salmon, his body bruised and spent, awaits the end. In spring, the young salmon emerge. They'll find their way to the sea, and after maturing, will return here to spawn at the right time.
For migratory species to remain in their prime, they have to seek conditions which to them are sublime. To breed or to feed and find whatever they need, they must always, always know the right time.
And so we've met some migratory animals. We've tried to solve their mysteries as well. Yet we cannot disclose all Mother Nature knows, for she has secrets that she will not tell. But she offers friendly service to her travelers, responding to her colorful brochures. They're welcomed openly through land or sky or sea.
On Mother